Tonight is the Yosef of Rabbi Aharon Roth, one of the Gedolim of the Kalisaya, that he wrote a few sefarim regarding how a person should behave. He talks about they had a book of Shomer Emunim, he has a book of Shulchan Tahor, and the one that we are going to read is Tarat Kodesh, and we are hoping that by learning his book, we're going to be able to use his zechut to have get elevated spiritually. So here he says this whole inyan, the Prek Dalet on the Tarat Kodesh, he brings out a very important principle that person, if he keeps it and he follows it, he's going to get a very, very safe journey in his life. And here is the whole concept. He says, I'm going to just go try to say the things that are important about it. So he says, no, my friend, that there are certain things that cause a person that do not get close to Allah, right? So, and what are those? Those things are basically that stop a person from getting close to Allah. They are basically could, if you take those obstacles away, you could get closer to Allah, and those are basically on the moach and lev of the person. And if a person, so I'm going to translate. He says in English, so this mitzvot cause a person to go down, right? To go down spiritually, and they basically, what we usually try to, whatever we do is basically we are inspired with what we have from our thought process or what we have in our heart, right? And he says here that there are four things that are basically stumbling block, or they're moneya. They're preventing from a person to get close to Allah. And he says here, he enumerates all of those. He says the first one that causes a person to stop serving Allah is abad ra'ot, which means a person likes to eat things that have a lot of tanugim, which includes chatva shalom, have a pegam yesod, which means a person chatva shalom, he wants to be have sexual desire for women, right? Ahavot tanuk, he wants to basically have just a lot of enjoyment in his life, eating and drinking, right? And the ahavat momo. So a person says this is a hara, right? That is come from the moach and lev. These are obstacles for a person to get to kedusha. So by trying to overcome this, a person could get higher spiritually. And the second part is yirah, this is something that many people are having an issue with. We had last week was your side of Noam and Melech, right? And there was a very interesting debator that was very, very famous, that he talked about how important it is for a person to have a strong emunah. And he talked about sviti bichati, the person. He said, "Man nochal b'shana shebi'it." When talking about shemitah, he said, if a person says, "What I'm going to eat on the 7th year," then he says, "Akadosh Baruch Hu has to command the bracha to come upon him again, right? Which should not have come upon him. Should have come upon him naturally." So here he says, what causes a person to have that daga is from the number 2, yirah, which means sheyaseh matip pachadim שיהיה לו פרנסה, או יחלה, או כל מיני דאגות שונות בתוגות, שהם באים מהיעדר אמונה וביטחון. So it brings upon a person, this whole thing is, it brings upon a person a lot of worriness. The person is worried about, he can get sick, he might not have parnasa, and all this is a fear of bad thing. What it says, Yira'ah, which is the second one. The first one was the person have a lust or sexual lust or the extreme desire for mundane world, right? Pleasures. Second one, which is different, is he's afraid bad things happen to him. He might not have a parnasa. He might not have. He might get sick. He might not, things don't go well. All these things they come from this second issue that every person has. Men, women, everybody has this issue that we all have to overcome that. And the third one is hakpadot with tzniut. The person he becomes very restrict with the others. If they do something wrong to him, he becomes extremely strict, and he hates them, right? This is a person who should overcome this and start loving everybody as much as he could, and have instead of sinas chinam, should have avat chinam, which right now we are having. They said the reason we don't have we don't Klal Israel still begalut because of sinas chinam. And the shortage of this is the third one that he's referring to. It says, Hakvada Besin'ah. So these are the things that they are preventing people from getting close to Allah and become more spiritual. And the fourth one is Geut. Geut become Hadi. A person become Hadi about, and he gives some examples that he gives. That's chanufa. Chanufa means he flatters the person and he lies to the person in order to get his way, and he does chanufa. And by doing so, by doing this kind of thing, he tries to win over his friend. Right? That's the reason he does that. And this approach is very, very, very. He has it. Everybody has it, and a person should try to overcome it. Right? And he constantly he prays himself. He says, "I'm a very good person, and the other people are bad." But also, a person should remember, a person could always try to look good things about for himself also, but he should not always put down other people in order to feel better. That's the whole thing. A person has to feel good for himself. And he has to think that he has mitzvot and mashim tovim. What he's referring to here, that he says a person should not have geut. Geut is to try to put down other people in order to make him feel better and feel elevated. Right? So these are the four kind of the yeseharot that a person has. And a person, and this is basically the very, 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 very master key for success. If a person overcome this kind of yeseharot that he is mentioning here, a person get higher. It could go so much higher spiritually. Now, it says even though the melech is zakan, when it's in the melech zakan, it's talking about yesehara. אבל אין בכוחו לפעול פעולתו בלתי השתתפות נפש הבהמות עמו, שהיא גם משורש מקרפון נור גם מחלק העשייה, ושהם מתקשרים עם לטכס יסוד הנפש הקדוש, נפש הסכלות, להורידם מכבודם. So this is, since the person we are everybody is we are from Olam Gashmiut, we were born from the dust and water. We were born created from a dust, and we go come back. So we are very Gashmi. So he says that's why we have all this Yisrael. But he says you could elevate yourself. One can elevate himself by working on himself. and he gives how to do it. He gives out a formula he has here in this perek, how to get around this 4 Sahara that he has and goes higher. Right? So he says. So he said, if somebody does avonot, right? Whenever he does avonot, he causes the nesesot kodesh. They go to the chisonim, which means not holy places, and those nesesot has to come back, and says the main one that a person should be very careful about, which we have to be all men and also women have to be very careful about, is Pigah HaBerit. Pigah HaBerit is one of the worst ones. That's why Obletani Shalita constantly focus talking about that the person should be do Shemirat Berit, Shemirat Inaim, Shemirat Lashon. So same thing here. He's saying that those are the things that we have to be very careful about, and he gives in the end he gives a formula how to overcome all these things, how to overcome this for Yisrael the person has, and basically he has to first and foremost he has to realize that he has it. Who, when he was created a human being, every single person has this Yisrael. So in the bottom page it says how to go about overcoming this. So he says one of the things that he could do is to get rid of it. So you just get rid of those chisonim, those what we call malachim, that bad malachim that he himself created. So he is supposed to get rid of them. The way he does it, the person could do it is by basically fasting or repenting or doing a lot of teshuvot, or whenever, like for instance, if he did certain avera, when he comes to that avera, he should overcome himself by keep saying that I'm not going to do this avera, and by doing so, he will be able to overcome that, right? So that's one of them, to get rid of the malachim that he created. According to Arizal, the best way to do it is fasting. If somebody could fast, could be able to get rid of a lot of this chesron that he made. And the other thing is when you sleep, it's a you have kavanah to get rid of those malachim ra'im. By doing so, a person is gonna pave the path for getting more spiritual. And the second one that is that לברר ולהנחות להפוך הנביא בהמו וגם לשאול להפכו לטובה. So he should be able to make himself more purified, become more kadosh, and get more spiritual and elevate himself. So this is his formula. First, get rid of those malachim that he created, and the second formula is elevate yourself spiritually. Once the person gets elevated spiritually and try to become more holy, then he will be able to get rid of all this Yisrael that is mentioned here. And according to Bechrinat HaKdusha, היו צדיקים אשר הגו שלהם היו מהירים כמו הרבה נשמות מישראל, כמו בא על גופם של 10 רגלי מלכות, איך שגופם יכול להיות בבחינת מים נוקבים שתיארו בסך בנפקם גופם שהיו בערך נשמות האחדות, זה היה בדור התנאים. So he refers to the Torah HaTanaim that this Aseh HaRegem Malchut, they were so high. So basically, the bottom line is here that he refers to a person wants to get to those madrigot که اینا رو دانشجوم هستگاه با هم مثلا אנשים ככל עבודת עלימי חיינו להכניע החומר ויסר חמר לפרושו ובהרואי שיסתפק השם לכל פחות. So he said the Sadiqin and Tanaim, they were very, very high spiritually because they were very extremely purified. They said we don't have that ability to get that high, but we should do our best to purify ourselves and get there. So basically, Rabbi Aharon Roth in this chapter gave a very good formula, which I think is extremely important to understand it, internalize it, and try to follow it. And by doing so, he can get spiritually very high. May his zuchut magen kol kayser ama